Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Technical difficulties, gotta love technology when it works for you, right? Not so much when it doesn't. But thank you for taking time this morning. The start of the month, we have a new month. So exciting. I actually really love a new month because it gives me, of course, my husband is calling at the same time. It gives me the opportunity to reevaluate like what my goals are, kind of take a look back on maybe some areas where I went wrong last month and how I can course correct to be better this month. So I actually absolutely love starting out at ground zero. And here's the thing, we all start at the same place at zero. Our trackers are all at zero. Our PPV is all at zero. Our well, not our PPA, but you know what I mean. So we all start at zero. And let's start first this fresh new month off with doing some gratitude this morning. So I'm going to give a few moments to whatever tool that you use. Personally, I have a planner that has what are 3 things that you're grateful for and what are 3 things that you are going to pray about today. And you can either use a piece of paper, but when you're rooted in the gratitude of the things that you already have, like, I mean, the reality is none of us are deserving of really anything. And the fact that the things that we have in our life are all truly blessings for us. So really appreciating the things that we already have opens up so much for us to get in the future, because if you're constantly chasing the dragon or always wanting something to fulfill your happiness and you're not happy with where your current situations are, you reaching that thing isn't going to make you happy. So you got to find the ground now, what truly makes you happy in the joy of this business. Because if you're just searching for or chasing that paycheck in order for you to feel fulfilled or happy or whatever, you're always going to be chasing that and it's never going to be enough. So being grounded in that right now. So I'm going to give 1 minute. I just have to send my husband a text real quick. Of course. So one thing I wanted to talk about was planning and how do we plan properly? Because I have fallen into the trap of where I've created goals for the month, and then I feel like I'm constantly writing the same goals down. And then that leads to frustration. And when you're feeling frustrated in your business, it's hard for you to produce that excitement and that joy of truly wanting to help other people when you're just blindly focused on, I'm going to achieve this rank. And then when it doesn't happen, you start comparing yourself to other people. You start questioning and doubting yourself, which kills your confidence, which therefore affects how you're showing up on your social media or in the conversations that you're having with people. So if you're new with us, hopefully this will give you some perspective on how you can set your goals going forward. But if you've been with us for a while, I encourage you to examine maybe some of the goals that you've set in the previous months. How have you set those? Have you just written down? And I know because every single month in the beginning of the month, I post the tracker for the day, which shows, if you're not aware of what that is, it shows that this is the volume that you should have to be on track for these specific ranks today. And on the first of the month, I always say, drop your goals for the month. And every single month, I see the same thing. 4K, 2 promoters, 2 customers, X amount in volume. I see the same thing. And I see the repeated same thing from a lot of people. So the same thing month after month, it's always 4K, 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 or 12K, 12K, 12K. And when you're setting a goal that's just looking at the volume and that's just looking at the number of promoters or the volume of sales that you personally want to bring in, or the number of promoters and customers you want to bring in. If that is what your only goals are, it's no wonder why you're feeling frustrated and you're not progressing. Because ultimately, what do we have control over? I had a boss in a previous job that I worked that said this to me when I was a manager at a bank for a long period of time. And I would always find myself, because I was in charge of people and their goals, right? Making sure that the bank had a good experience, making sure that people were achieving their goals so I could achieve my goals, so the bank could achieve their goals. And I was in this, I felt like I was in this hamster wheel where I just couldn't get people motivated to do the things. And I was trying to control the number of, they call them solutions, the number of solutions that we had that day, or sales. And I was feeling frustrated. And my boss at the time said, well, what are you actually able to control? Control what you can control. And I think about that as it relates to our business now, because so many of us are writing down these numbers of volume, of the number of promoters we want to get. And the reality is, we actually don't have control over that outcome. We don't have control over that specific number that we end with. We don't have the control over whether or not our team decides to work. We don't have control over whether or not somebody decides they want to order. What we really need to be establishing goals around is things that we have complete control over, that will lead to the things that you are looking to accomplish with your volume and with bringing on new people. Because when you're just focusing on the number, it's no wonder you're frustrated, because you're not actually taking a good look at, what are the things I'm doing every day. So instead of putting down a number goal as the ultimate, like that is what I'm going for, that is the thing I want, where we should really be directing our attention is to the things that we're doing every day that we have complete control over. So what I call things like 12K, 4K, your personal volume, the amount of promoters or customers that you bring in, new volume, I call those benchmarks. Benchmarks are something that you obtain or can obtain by focusing on your specific goals. And what your goals should be are action-based items. So for instance, this is what I will give you kind of an idea of what I do, and hopefully it will help you, because it'll help you feel more accomplished, for one, because these are things that you have the ability to control. It'll help you feel more confident. It'll help you feel accomplished. It will help guide you in the right direction to achieving the things that you ultimately want. And it will have you coming from a good place when you're, working your business every day. And I'm a person of faith, so I want to leave you with this Bible verse because it is super important for me. And that's Galatians 6:14. It says, pay careful attention to your own work, and then you will get the satisfaction of a job well done. And you won't need to compare yourself to anyone else, because when you're focusing on ranks, that is where comparison sets in. But when you are focusing on your works, that is where you can feel fulfillment, because you're seeing progress in the things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. So for instance, of course, I still write down, like, I want to re-rank my husband and I want to achieve this rank. But those aren't the things that I look at every single day. The things that I look at every single day are the actions that I'm going to take. So I break it down into my personal volume and my PPA. So if I have my personal volume and my PPA, what are the things that I can physically do that are going to help me achieve my personal volume? So things that I have written down as far as my goals is minimum of 1 Thrive post a day, 2 sample stories a week, talking about samples with a poll, 3 to 4 lives per week, and then constantly following up with my current customers. And I will kind of go into execution of all this as well. But those are the things that if I am diligently doing those things every day, they should lead me to new volume. They should lead me to my personal volume, staying where it's at, maintaining my current customer base. So a minimum of 1 Thrive post a day. I have control over that. I have control of how much I post. 2 sample stories a week. I have control over showing up in my stories. Now, whether or not somebody replies to my story, I don't have control over that, obviously. But I have control over reaching out to the people that are viewing my stories and asking them. 3 to 4 lives a week. I have control over doing 3 to 4 lives a week. Following up with my current customers. You guys, if you are not taking care of your current customers, you will be on a perpetual hamster wheel that will be so frustrating because you're constantly going to have to bring in new people to maintain where you're at. And some of your customers will make your best promoters if you take care of them. So something that I realized was like, and that's why you thrive for free every month. Let's be honest. So if you're just doing all this work on the back end, if you're posting every day and you're having conversations and you're, doing follow-ups and you're doing all these things, and then you get this new customer and then you're not helping them after you get them, you're just like, here, I signed you up and like the end, we're good. You're going to constantly be frustrated because one, you're going to have to always find new people to be able to thrive for free every month. But if you're taking care of the current people that you have, because you guys, they're people, they're not just numbers, then that's how you get that repeat. That's how you get people that are like, you know what? I do love these products and maybe I can do this business, because you're constantly showing up for them. But if you're just signing them up and not even taking care of them, either they are going to just stop thriving altogether, because anytime they reach an obstacle, they're just going to give up because they're like, oh, she doesn't even care anyways. Or they'll stop thriving with you and find somebody else to thrive with that actually cares for them. So those are things that you have complete control over. Then I break it down into my QV. What are things that I have control over that could help move my QV in the right direction? Work closely with promoters who have not currently ranked yet. So that means like helping them with content and accountability. So you guys, there's no such thing as tough love. Love is just love. Sometimes it just comes in a tough form because you truly care about that person. Then all promoters, helping them thrive for free every month, doing a mini race with them. So me providing samples for a discounted price at $10. Now, obviously, not all of us can do that because we maybe don't have the ability to have that kind of product on hand for our people. But I guarantee if you reach out to an upline somewhere that can help you come up with some promos or something like that, that can help drive business within your team. Those are things I have control over with my team. I do not have control over whether or not Susie decides to post every day. I do not have control over whether or not Susie re-ranks. I have control over how I show up for them, how I connect with them every single day. I have control over what are the things that I'm doing to help my team grow, like providing them with promotions. I don't have control over whether or not they actually do the promotions, but I can put my head to bed at night with satisfaction knowing that I did everything within the ability of my control. So that's how I can control my QV. Another piece of that is I wrote down, like, I want to grow my team, obviously. So what are the things I need to do in order to grow my team? Talk about the business 2 times a week. Do the ask for orders. So if somebody is ordering as a customer, asking them, now, do you want to order as a customer and then with your referrals, you get free product? Or do you want to order as a promoter and potentially get paid and get free product with your referrals? So doing the things that I have control over, that conversation that I have with people every single day. I do not have control over whether they say yes or no. And then I have it, what are ways in which I can step outside of my comfort zone? Now we often think your comfort zone, things that are outside of that are things that are fearful to you. But I also think your comfort zone can look like what are some areas in your business that you've got too comfortable with? So this can be like, for a period of time, I wasn't showing up and doing Zooms because I was just like, oh, I got doing Zooms right. I got it. But then I realized that that's something that I like to do that fuels me because I'm contributing back to other people, even if they're not on my team. And I actually had this realization when Stacy asked me to be on her Zoom last week. And I was like, I feel fired up. Like, it's not even necessarily about like overcoming a fear. Sometimes it's stepping outside of a place where you've gotten too comfortable. So things I've written down are like weekly opportunity lives, doing those with my team, doing weekly team Zooms, accountability. That is something that I've always struggled with as a manager in various aspects of my career in different things, is holding people accountable. Because I always thought like, oh, I'm going to lose friends. No. Accountability is something that people often need in order for them to grow. And you demonstrate you care about somebody by holding them accountable. So when you're creating your goals, breaking it down into, okay, I have personal volume, I have PPA, and I have QV. And then writing things down within those 3 buckets that you have control over. And then those are the goals that you look at every single day. Those are the things that you have complete control over. And focusing on those things, because when you focus on those actions that you're doing every single day, that is what will lead to the success. It's when you're looking at a rank number and then not achieving it and then getting frustrated and saying like, what's the point? So you give up doing the actions that are the thing that you need to get you there in the first place. Like, if you have not read the book, The Slight Edge, I highly recommend it because it talks about focusing on the little actions that other people aren't willing to do. So that means shifting your focus from a rank to the actions. I'm going to leave you with another Bible verse, 2 Thessalonians 3:10. Those unwilling to work will not get to eat. You cannot expect the fruits of labor if you're not putting in the labor. So if you're just putting up a post-it on your dream board that says 12K every single month and you're wondering why you're not achieving it, is because you're just looking at a rank and you're not shifting your focus to the things that need to be done. Now, this can be you can maybe work on, maybe if you're so you don't even know where to start, you can do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and those are your goals every single day, instead of saying like, I need to get 500 in volume today. Okay, but so then what happens when you don't achieve the 500 in volume today? Are you going to get frustrated? Yes. Are you going to feel defeated? Yes. But if you're checking off boxes, like, these are my goals, are to post a Thrive post today, have conversations with 5 new people, add 2 people to my network or my list. If those are your goals and you can check those off, do you feel accomplished after you're doing them? Absolutely. And that's the thing that is going to lead you to that 12K post that you keep putting on your dream board or writing down in your notebook, focusing on those actions. Now, I want to talk about execution a bit, because I think this is important too, because we have so many different things and so many different aspects of our business. And I was actually having a conversation with another leader yesterday, and we were talking about how so many people will treat this business as a hobby, as an afterthought, and not really take it seriously. And it's no wonder they're getting paid like a hobby or not at all, is because you're treating it like it's just a thing that you do, on the side, my little side gig, my thing, this little thing. And you're either not taking time to put thought into your posts, or you're not taking care of your customers that come on every month, or you're not taking time to follow up with the author is Jeff Olson, The Slight Edge. One of the best books I've ever read. I've read it multiple times. And I was like mind blown, because it talks about how the people that are successful don't know any secret. It's just that they do the things that give them the slight edge, instead of where people stop doing the things because they're frustrated or they've reached a point of success. So they're like, oh, I'm good. So they put it on post. they keep doing the things that got them there in the first place. But if you're not treating your business like a business, why are you expecting to get paid $500 a week or $1,000 a week? I read another book, so hopefully this was helping you guys. I don't even know if I have it down here. GoPro by Eric Worre. He's a big network marketing guy. He's actually from my state and of Minnesota, so I really enjoyed reading his book. But he talks about taking an audit of yourself, and this goes along with execution. So if you're expecting to get paid $1,000 a week, act as if you're somebody that's following yourself every day and ask yourself, am I deserving of that paycheck that I'm asking for? So are you doing the things that would warrant you to get $1,000 paycheck? If you're just, I engaged with one group, I sent a message, and I kind of did a post, didn't show up in my stories though. Like, are you really deserving of that $1,000 that you're expecting to get a week? No. No. The great thing about this business is, and the frustrating thing also, is that in the beginning, you will do all this work and you're not going to see the fruits of your labor right away. So you feel like you're doing a lot of work for not a lot of pay at first. But then eventually, if you're staying on that slight edge and you're remaining consistent with your actions that you're doing every day, eventually you'll get to this place where you're like, how am I making this much money for the work that I'm doing? Like, how am I even getting paid this much? So, and the problem is, so many people will give up when they're in that season of putting in the work and not seeing the fruits just yet, instead of waiting it out and trusting the process and continuing to do the things and focusing on the actions every day, and then getting to the place where you're like, this can't be real life. Are you for real? Like, I get to go on vacation and talk to people all day and I get paid this much, more than like surgeons who go to school for years and years and years of their life that do laboring things. So as far as execution goes, you obviously need to have a plan in place for your day. If you're not planning your day, expect to fail your day. So something I personally do with my team is we have a little, I don't know, like check off sheet that I do every day. Some people do bingo boards. Some people will do like IPA chats, whatever. But on this, not only am I writing down the things that we should be doing every single day, like posting, growing your network, connecting with people, but I'm also adding in little things that are going to help me with the backside of my business that we often leave on the table. What I'm referring to is, are you following up with your auto ship customers? Can somebody, okay, thank you. Somebody mute that person. Thank you. So the things that we often forget about, like, are you following up with your auto ship customers? So every Monday, we have written down, follow up with your customers for that week. So whether that's you're following up with the auto ships that run for the week, even if it's like the 5th is on a Sunday, following up with them on a Monday. Yes, that habit tracker, I've seen that. It's really cool. And then maybe if they already have their auto ship running on the 5th and it's a Sunday, like this week, for instance, making sure that you're following up with them on Monday, because now they came out and they said like, oh, we're running auto ships on Friday. So if you're waiting for the 4th to follow up for the people on the 5th, like, you could be really hurting your business. Maybe it's taking a handful of customers that didn't place an order last month, but they ordered the previous month, following up with those people. Then like another day would be like on Tuesday, writing down, checking in with my promoters, taking care of those people, following up with potential promoters. Then on Wednesday, it's following up with all the people that previously sampled. Then on Thursday, it's auditing your social media to make sure the things that you're actually posting are hitting with your audience. Fridays, it might look like preparing thank yous to send out for your current customers, or packing up samples for the weekend. Like, making sure you're putting those aspects of your business into your day-to-day that we often forget. And this is just something I recently started implementing with my team, because something that I noticed is like the people on my team were saying like, well, they're not ordering anymore. I'm like, well, when's the last time you actually checked in with those people? And they're like, well, I just, I'm focused there. You get so focused in on posts and new customers that it's easy to forget the people that were loyal to you or that said yes and that spent their hard-earned money on product because they trusted in you, and then you just leave them out to dry. So making sure you're implementing those things, some sort of system to help hold you accountable to the actions that you need to complete every day. Then what you can do is, if you're not checking in with your goals every single day, week, whatever, it's like having a roadmap that's in the back seat. Like, what use is it going to do for you back there if you are like, shoot, what turn was I supposed to take? I can't reach back and grab that map because I'll go off the road or whatever. It's unsafe. So not having your goals in visible view for you to look at daily, weekly, you're on a path that has no direction. And also being able to take a look at, okay, here's where I'm at with my benchmarks, with my rank, and with my new volume. How effective are the things that I'm doing? You got to test your effectiveness, because if you can be doing all the things, but doing them wrong and still not seeing any results. So, you know what the definition of insanity is, right? That's doing the exact same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So sometimes you need to course correct your goals throughout the month. Sometimes it's like, okay, maybe I haven't been as diligent with this thing, or maybe I need to really change up how I'm doing this thing. And understanding that sometimes you have to course correct, because if you're just hinging on this one thing and then you're not getting to the place you want to go, why are you still doing that thing? It's like, why would you post the same things over and over and over again? Maybe you're copying other leaders' posts at this point and you're posting them and you're like, well, they're getting all the, feedback, or like people are actually reaching out to them, but I'm not seeing anything. Okay, if you continually copy other people's posts and you're not seeing fruits of that, you got to change things up. At some point, you got to have your own voice. If you are, I'm trying to think, if you're posting stories in a certain way, and you're not getting anybody voting on your polls, if you're not getting anybody that's reaching out, you need to change up your strategy about how you're showing up on your stories. Is it that you've been doing graphics that you copied from somebody else, that somebody else is doing, and then it's not working for you? Or are you talking too much? Are you not talking enough? Like, you got to take a look at that stuff from an outside lens, because I think it's easy for us to be like, well, I'm doing the things. Why isn't what we want to blame everybody else? I'm doing the things. Why aren't they happening? Sometimes you have to look at yourself. Actually, a lot of the times you have to self-examine yourself, because if you're going to keep doing the same thing and you're not seeing results, that's why people quit, because they're not willing to grow and to take a investigative lens to themselves to see, what are the things that I'm doing that aren't working? If you're constantly posting and you're only getting one like, why would you post the same things? Maybe it's that you're not actually engaging with people enough. Maybe it's that your message, the people in your audience don't relate to what you're saying, and you need to change things up. You either need a new audience or you need a new message. So if you don't have the things that you're doing on a daily basis, if you're not taking audit of your goals, audit of your actions, it can lead you in this circle that never ends, because you're not willing to take a look at what you're doing and whether or not it's actually working. I actually had this conversation with a girl of mine. She's like, well, I'm not getting any promoters, or I'm not getting any customers from the things that I'm doing. I'm like, then we need to change up what you're doing. You need to change up the things that you're saying. You need to change up the stories that you're doing. looking at your views, looking at your likes, doing all those things. So execution, look at your goals every single day. Take an audit of, are these goals that I wrote down, are these things that I wrote down, are they A, even working, or B, am I doing even enough? Because let's say, I get that people are busy. We have, like, I started this business working 40 to 50 hours a week. I understand. So sometimes you only have the capability to do something like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, where you're doing 5 reach outs and 4 follow-ups, 3 posts, 2 people on your list, and then reaching out to your upline. Like, that's all you have the capability to do right now. But if you're wanting to go somewhere faster, sometimes you need to increase your volume of what you're doing things. So being able to pulse check throughout the month and look back at your goals. I used to be the person that would write it down in my notebook and then never look at it. And then I would always wonder why it is that I would not achieve my goals for the month, or that I would fall off, or that my consistency would be lacking. It's because I wasn't taking a look at the things that I wrote down when I was excited about the month. When I was excited, I wasn't looking at those things every single day. So then it's easy to get caught up in your kids and your job and comparing yourself and watching other people, and like just sitting and watching reels for hours on end and not actually doing your own. Like, it's easy to get caught in that trap if you don't have a plan in place that you look at every single month. Here's one more thing I want to add on execution. Where are you doing your work every day? Is it in an area, and this is something I found out the hard way, and this is actually something that I learned in one of my books. I can't remember which one it was, but are you doing all your work in a place that is designated for something else? So I will give you an example. If you're trying to execute your plan, sitting on the couch where you usually sit and watch TV and are comfortable, how efficient do you think you're going to be? Because here's the thing, your brain and your body is going to think, this is a place where we relax. So guess what you're going to be with executing your plan? You're going to be like, I'm relaxed with this. But if you set aside a space, I'm not saying you have to have a home office. I'm not saying you have to, build this like extravagant office that looks nice or whatever. Like, sometimes it's like you just need to set aside a place that that you can be productive, that is away from a place where you have designated for other things. Like, if you're expecting to do all your things in bed, your brain is thinking, hey, this is a place where we're comfortable and we go to sleep. So are you really going to be effective? No. I had to remove I work from home now full time. So I was finding myself like trying to get stuff done while I was like chilling on the couch, watching my daughter play her game or play with her toys or whatever. And I was finding like I wasn't being super efficient. So I was like, you know what? And part of the reason was it was so dang hot up in my office that I couldn't go up here because I don't have air conditioning. But I was using that as an excuse. I could have created some other place, in a cool place that was separated from where I was doing my relaxing. But the second I was like, I need to remove myself from this situation so that I am efficient, so that I am focused on my work, so that I'm not distracted by a million things. And I get we have kids and things that are going on, and husbands and dinners and jobs and stuff. It's all about figuring out what works best for you. And I saw somebody that said, like, I do most of work. I've done that before. Like, every time I would go to the bathroom, I'd be like, okay, now is my time to add people to my network. Every time I would take a bathroom break. On my lunch break, that's when I followed up with all my messages. That sort of thing. So I was respecting my place of work, but also was kind of like tricking my brain into thinking, when I'm doing this certain thing, that means I can work on this certain thing. And I've heard other leaders talk about how, like, every time they go to the bathroom, they added to their network. So I was like, I'm going to try that. So it's about really creating a space that you're going to be effective and efficient. because to be honest, the things that you need to do every day should not take you longer than an hour. It shouldn't. And if it is, you're probably not being as efficient as you think. You are probably watching people's videos, scrolling, and not actually having any sort of like effective conversation with people. You're just watching other people's stories. You're chilling instead of being like, nope, time to set a timer, get the work done. Or you're caught in a self-development trap, which a lot of people get into. Well, I'm working because I'm getting in all these Zooms. I'm working because I watched a YouTube video today about self-development. I read a bunch of books. Okay, but are you actually putting the things into action? Or are you just becoming a self-development junkie? You have to put the things into action at one point. And those things should not take you longer than an hour. If you are focused, if you set timers, if you look at the actual goal plan that you set and you check the things off, boom, 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 boom. The goal of this business is not to give you more to do all day long and for your husbands to be mad at you because you're on your phone all the time, or your spouse or your significant other, because I can tell you I fell into that trap. And my husband's like, you're always on your phone. And I was like, yeah, but I'm working. Was I really working? Or was I just scrolling social media? I wasn't really working. Is it a tool or a toy? I always ask myself, am I using my phone as a tool or a toy right now? So finding a space where you're going to be efficient, looking at your goals all the time. And then if you have to hold yourself accountable with like either your leader, if you're just somebody that feels like you do not have the will to be able to execute your own plan right now, because I can tell you I've been guilty of that. If you need to bring in somebody else to help hold you accountable to your goal, do it. That doesn't make you any less of a leader. That doesn't make you any less of a person. That just means that you actually care about the things that you're writing down and you want to make sure that they happen. I can't even tell you how many times people don't send their goals to me. And I'm like, how do I know where you're going? Do you even care? Because I'm not here to be a dictator to somebody. I am here because I care about the things that you told me you wanted to accomplish. And if you need somebody to hold your hand for a period of time because you just do not have the capacity to hold yourself accountable, then I am here for that. And you need to sometimes set your own damn pride aside and ask for help. Say like, these are the things I want to get done. Can you help me? Because I find I get distracted, or I find that when I get frustrated, I just give up, or my attention wanders. Like, can you help me with this? And sometimes that can be a sideline. Sometimes that can be your upline. Sometimes that can be your own team. If you're a good leader and you have to be transparent with your team sometimes. And by you saying, hey, I want you guys to hold me accountable to this, does not make you look any less to them. And if anything, that's more respectful. Because if you're trying to hide behind this pretend facade, you're going to lose respect from people. So sometimes you don't have the capability to be able to hold yourself accountable, and you need to reach out and find somebody that's going to help be that accountability buddy, is what I used to say. You can be my accountability buddy. It's like having a gym partner, you know? So sometimes you have to do that as well. I hope that was helpful. I'm just going to tie it up with a nice little bow today and say that here, I'm going to leave you with this. Proverbs 14:23. Work brings profit, but mere talk leads to poverty. You cannot expect to achieve your goals if you're just talking about them. You have to put in the action. So yes, write down the ranks you want to achieve, but that is not your ultimate goal. Your goal is the actions that you're going to be taking every single day that are going to help you reach that goal. They're going to help you feel fulfilled. They're going to help you feel accomplished every single day. They're going to help you feel like you have direction. Because if you're just posting a post-it 12K on your board and you have no idea how you're getting there, It's no wonder you want to give up. I do not blame you. I do not blame you. But when you are focusing on these are the things that I can do every day, check off my list and feel good about the things that I'm doing, your confidence will increase, your volume will increase, your business will increase. So take your attention and direct it to the actions that you're doing. Find a space that is set aside that you can work productively, efficiently in, and find somebody if you feel like you don't have the capability to hold yourself accountable, or if you don't even know where to start with your goals, find somebody to help you. Don't do this on your own. We're all here for you. We have Zooms about this. You have uplines that care about you. Whether it's if your upline quit, find somebody else. There is somebody that wants to help you, and we are here for you. So we're doing 100 Days to Peace. Who will be reading off?
Tiffany will be reading off. And while she's reading, if you've never won, please drop something in the comments that you've learned from Megan so she can pick a winner for us after the reading. Go ahead, Tiff, you're up.
All right, you guys, we are on day 16, accepting advice. Let the wise listen and add to their learning, and let the discerning get guidance. Proverbs 1:5. If you find yourself caught up in the inevitable challenges of these turbulent times, it's probably the right time to start searching for knowledgeable friends and mentors who can give you solid advice. Why do you need help evaluating the person in the mirror? Because you're simply too close to that person. That's why. Sometimes you'll be tempted to give yourself straight A's when you actually deserve considerably lower grades. On other occasions, you'll become your own worst critic, giving yourself a string of failing marks when you actually deserve better. The truth, of course, is often somewhere in the middle. Finding a wise mentor is only half the battle. It takes just as much wisdom, and sometimes more, to act upon good advice as it does to give it. So find people you can trust, listen to them carefully, and act accordingly. Today's quotes: God guides through the counsel of good people. E. Stanley Jones. Yes, the Spirit was sent to be our counselor. Yes, Jesus speaks to us personally, but often he works through another human being. John Eldridge. A single word, if spoken in a friendly spirit, may be sufficient to turn one from dangerous error. Fanny Crosby. For further reflection, Proverbs 1:5, 12:15, 19:20, Ecclesiastes 4:13, and Hebrews 10:24 through 25. Okay, shh, be quiet for 1 minute, okay? All right, come here. And then you guys, today's prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for the mentors whom you have placed along my path. When I am troubled, let me turn to them for help, for guidance, for comfort, and for perspective. And Father, let me be a friend and mentor to others that have love for you, maybe by demonstrated and by genuine concern for them. Amen.
How does this fit? Every single dang time, I swear.
Always.
Always. I'm picking Denise Frank.
Denise Frank, congratulations, sweetheart. Message me on Messenger. I'm found on Messenger under Channing Cochran, COCHRAN. Also, if you have not yet received your package, please also message me as well. Thank you, Megan. As always, you were fire, and we'll see y'all Friday. And I believe it's Chas. So join us then. See y'all later.
Thank you.